What's going on YouTube? Lord of Houston known as LTH coming at you with a video. 713 the Space City, we in the building. Alright, well, could have made this sooner, but you know, it's kind of a good thing that I waited, since I had to watch the Broncos versus Bills game to see, who's gonna end up hosting the AFC championship game, and found out the answer was the Denver Broncos, who then lost Bo Nix to a broken ankle, and then learned that he was going to be out for the year. Talk about postseason injuries at the worst time possible. I mean, though, congrats to Broncos country, but also wish Bo Nix a speedy recovery, man, because they definitely need him long term for real. In this next playoff game for sure, between the winner of the Texans and Patriots tomorrow. So just thought I'd get that out the way real quick. And also, before I talk about it, gotta give a shout out to this Patriots fan, Deshaun Parks, who goes by 6 Rings, Check Parks. A big shout out to you, big man. And all I have to say is, may the best team win tomorrow at 2 p.m. at Gillette Stadium. It's going to be a good game. So just thought I'd get that off my chest real fast. Now let's talk about it, And on a side note, beating the Steelers 30-6 was like a similar score to week 4 of 2023 when the Texans beat the Steelers at that similar score, 30-6. Not to mention the Texans defense scored more than the Steelers offense altogether. Despite 3 giveaways, Texans, turned 2 turnovers into 14 points. And I have to admit, Stroud going into tomorrow's game has to play a lot better along with protecting the football. Because, like I say, the offense is going to determine whether they advance or they go home tomorrow. I know they're not going to have Nico Collins, but hey, next man up, as they say, the heavier load is going to be on either Christian Kirk or Jaden Higgins. I'll say leaning on Jaden Higgins having to step up along with Jalen Noel and Xavier Hutchinson and Cade Stover and Dalton Schultz. They all have to step up on a consistent note. And hopefully Jawar Jordan plays tomorrow, which will be nice. And of course, Woody Marks have to follow up on a big game he had. And, and of course, Stroud got to do a better job of protecting the football, instead of trying to do a lot at one time if it means trying to play hero ball. I see nothing wrong with it, but at the same time, it could cost you big time. So if there's nothing there, take the sack or throw the ball away. Live to play another down. Just don't fall in the second and third and long type situations for sure. So ball security is going to be for the Texans. And of course, got to stay ahead of the sticks, one step ahead of the opposing defense of the Patriots, And of course, Nick Caley gotta open up that playbook to spread the field, putting the players in solid position. And of course, Mike, can't take anyway from what New England's been able to do. The same Patriots that held Justin Herbert, Chargers offense to 3 points. Not to mention, as good as that Patriots offense is with that 2 running back tandem, they only scored 1 touchdown, but the difference between Aaron Rodgers and Drake May is a lot younger and a lot more mobile than Aaron Rodgers. So, like Josh Allen, like Bo Nix, Drake May is going to scramble the football for sure. So, which brings me over to the Texans defense and what needs to be done. Of course, slow down the big plays, take away the tight end production, Hunter Henry, Aaron Hooper, and Boot, Kevin Boot, Booty, whoever, Pop Douglas, and along with Stephon Diggs, got to find a way to limit those guys consistently on both sides of the ball. And of course, defense got to continue winning in the trenches. I mean, because like it's been discussed all year, the defense is going to be key for the Texans, making a deeper playoff run. Just when the playoffs couldn't be any more wide open with Buffalo out of the playoffs. So gotta pressure the hell out of Drake May and harass the hell out of him. Make him uncomfortable in that pocket, forcing him having to, be one dimensional consistently for 4 quarters. Because you do not want to let him get hot early and often. And of course, you want to stop the run. Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson, both good runners. Good running back tandem. The D line gotta eat, stop the run at all times. And in the secondary, gotta be on their A game for sure. Because Drake May's gonna look to launch that football. So gotta be willing to locate the football without committing any boneheaded penalties, which will give the Pats offense another opportunity to move the ball down the field. So key to this Texans defense, take away the screens and flats, because that's where most of the Patriots production come from. So gotta take away those. Can't let them get that going early and often, because that's where their danger is at. So gotta it's gotta play smart, discipline, create sacks and turnovers, which is a good factor. Of course, you want to win the turnover battle, because they lost the turnover battle, but this time around, would like to see this team win the turnover battle, even if it's not guaranteed. So, and for the offense, win the time of possession. Keeping Drake May and that Pats offense on the sideline as long as possible. Keeping the deep Patriots defense on their heels for a good long minute. So, Jaden Higgins, Jalen knows who I'm going to be watching the most, along with CJ Stroud, and how he protects the football that's going around. Because in the playoffs, little to no room for mistakes in this game. Because can't just rely on the defense to bail the offense out. The offense, got to step up in a big way if they hope to win this game. Let alone leave Gillette Stadium with a W if it means going to Denver next Sunday in their first ever AFC championship game, having to travel to Denver, But this team's been overcoming obstacles pretty good, so it's not going to be easy, but if they want to overcome another obstacle, which is Foxborough, complimentary football is going to be key. Mistake-free complimentary football at that. Sustained drives, score more sevens than field goals. Taking the points is cool and all, but field goals won't win you every playoff game. So, got to put sevens on the board, which would help the team in a big way, plus taking the pressure off the Texans defense. Leaving them fully rested and ready to handle business. So, offense got to play better, which is part of their, bettering themselves in fundamentals, because a mistake or two could very well haunt this team, meaning the Texans may not be so lucky. So, Not to mention the Texans are 0-6 in the divisional round. You know, 2 losses by Kansas City, 2 losses by Baltimore, and 2 losses by New England. So, not to mention, there's going to be their third playoff matchup between the Patriots and Texans. And of course, you know, last time Texans played the Patriots, Week 6 of 2024, you know, Will Anderson sacked him 3 times. But not to mention, it's a whole new ball game, whole new year, whole new postseason, which is the real season at that. So, confident in the defense, you know, offense just got to handle their business when it counts the most. Every snap, every point, every stop, every sack, every forced turnover counts. So, yeah, we'll love to go play the Broncos next week. Week 9 rematch. But first things first, got to get past New England to be exact. So, yeah, just thought I want to put my 2 cents in on this divisional round preview tomorrow. You know, because nothing would please me more than to finally see the Texans win their first divisional playoff game, let alone back-to-back road playoff games at that, after previously being winless on the road in the playoffs. But will it happen? Only time will tell tomorrow. So, yeah, just wanted to come put my 2 cents in on this game for tomorrow. And yeah, I know I'm aware I picked the Patriots, but man, I sure hope the Houston Texans can prove me wrong tomorrow. Because, not to mention, I wouldn't mind admitting that I'm wrong. So, let's go Houston Texans. 7-13 to Space City. Lord of Houston checking on up out of here. Let's go Texans. I'm out.